You are welcome to Igcse Topical Questions and Simplified Solutions by Erid Online Academic. We are presently on chemical energetics, and this is volume 1 of this particular topic. I want to quickly encourage you to subscribe to my YouTube channel, share and like, and also visit www.eridonlineacademy.weebly.com for more resources towards your exam success. Let's look at the first question quickly. The diagram shows some properties that substances may have. To which labeled part of the diagram does uranium-235 belong? So we will need to consider the options available here. If you look at this question, it's somewhat like your set theory in mathematics. So let me just do a few explanations in case you are not in tune with set theory or Venn diagram. Okay, now A here, you have A, and that simply means that whatever this area shaded part concerns both used as an energy source or compound. So this particular area in red, which is B, simply means that that particular substance is radioactive and it's a compound. Okay, so this particular point shaded black, that is D, means that that particular substance in question is both radioactive, it's both used as an energy source and also a compound. So for C here simply means that the substance has all the properties mentioned. And what are the properties mentioned here? That the substance is used as an energy source, the substance is a radioactive substance, and of course that the substance is a compound. So we need to look at this critically. Uranium-235 is a radioactive element. It consists of radioactive isotopes. So you may need to do a quick revision of the uses of uranium-235. Let me just give you a clue. Okay, uranium-235 can be used in nuclear power stations to produce electricity. That's talking about tapping into nuclear energy for the production of electricity. And the radioisotope is bombarded by neutrons, resulting into the release of large amounts of energy. Also try to recall what radioisotopes are. Radioisotopes, or talking about radioactive substances. Radioactive substances, they have unstable nuclei. It's very key that you remember that. Radioactive substances have unstable nuclei. That simply means that the nucleus of a radioactive substance disintegrates continuously. Okay, radioactive element, they disintegrate continuously, and via that disintegration they release particles into the atmosphere, and sometimes they could be dangerous to the environment when people are exposed to radioisotopes. Okay, just do a quick revision on radioisotopes and the uses of radioisotopes, and of course remember the definition of what isotopes are: atoms of the same element that have different mass number or different nuclear number as a result of the difference in their neutron number. So now you can see that uranium-235 can be used to produce high amount of energy in nuclear stations. So let's go back to the question and see how we can apply this clue to solve the problem that we have. Okay, so back to this, you can see the options now clearly. Okay, so uranium-235 can be used to produce energy. That's correct. So uranium-235 is radioactive element, but it's not a compound. You should be able to record the difference between element and what? And compound. Element and compound. Element consists of what? Only one type of atom. Compound consists of two or more types of what? Atoms. Chemically what? Chemically combined. So uranium-235 is just an element. It's not, it's not a compound, it's an element. Okay, so uranium-235, it's not a compound, it's an element, and it's radioactive, and it's also used as source of what? Energy. So the correct answer here is D. D is the correct answer. So question 2. Which reaction is endothermic? Which reaction is endothermic? Acid neutralizing alkali causing a temperature increase. So we have a clue here, a reaction, neutralization reaction causing temperature increase. Even here, you may not even recall that neutralization reaction leads to increase in temperature. So luckily, you've been told here that it leads to what? To an increase in temperature. You have adding magnesium to hydrochloric acid, then calcium carbonate decomposing when heated, combustion of fossil fuel. So basically, you need to look back at endothermic and exothermic reaction. For endothermic reaction and exothermic reaction. Okay, so let's look at something quickly. For endothermic reaction, heat energy is what? Is absorbed. Heat energy is absorbed, or you could say heat energy is needed or required. But for exothermic reaction, heat energy is released. Okay, so heat energy is given off, so it's not required basically. So let's look at the reactions that we have here. Acid neutralizing alkaline causing temperature increase. So endothermic reaction is accompanied, that's another way to look at it, is accompanied by decrease in temperature. Decrease in temperature. Why an exothermic reaction is accompanied by what? An increase in temperature. You have an increase in temperature. Okay, so this first reaction is an exothermic reaction. Exothermic reaction because there's an increase in temperature there. Then for B says adding magnesium to hydrochloric acid. This reaction also releases heat energy, even though we're not told here. It's an exothermic reaction. That's reaction between a metal and an acid to form salt and what? Salt and hydrogen. So it's an exothermic reaction. Now for C, we're told that calcium carbonate decomposed to when what? Heated. When heated. So heating actually gives energy to the chemical compound. That means the decomposition of calcium carbonate solid, the decomposition of calcium carbonate into calcium oxide solid produces what? Requires heat energy. Heat energy is required, meaning that heat energy is what? Is absorbed. So looking at the criteria here, you can see that the decomposition of calcium carbonate is actually an endothermic reaction. Endothermic reaction. So of course you should know that combustion of fuel, it's actually an exothermic reaction. That is why fuel are combusted, so that energy can be released in form of what? In form of heat. So the correct answer here is C. C is the correct answer here. So let's move on to question 3. Okay, metals are weathered by using the heat produced by burning a gas in oxygen. Which gas could not be used for this purpose? Okay, so let's look at the gases. Now you look at the question here. Let's do analysis. Heat produced by burning a gas in oxygen. So when you burn a gas in oxygen, whatever the gas is, the gas plus oxygen, okay, is going to burn to produce heat energy. Okay, and of course in the production of heat energy, other gases could be formed. So they are saying here, which of these does not require oxygen for its burning, for its combustion? Okay, ethane, okay, it's a hydrocarbon. Okay, methane, it's a hydrocarbon. Okay, so ethane is hydrocarbon, methane is what? Methane is hydrocarbon. This is hydrocarbon. Hydrocarbon meaning that it contains only what? Carbon and hydrogen. That's the formula of ethane. Okay, for methane is also a hydrocarbon. It contains only carbon and what? And hydrogen. That's the formula for that. So anytime you have hydrocarbon burning, whenever you have combustion of hydrocarbons burn in oxygen, okay, to form carbon dioxide and what? And water. So anytime they burn, they require oxygen for their combustion basically, and of course you know that heat energy will also be what? Be released. Okay, now hydrogen is not a hydrocarbon because it contains only hydrogen, but when hydrogen burns, it requires what? It requires oxygen. In fact, combustion requires oxygen. If you remember the fire triangle, combustion, oxygen is required for combustion. So when hydrogen burns, for example in oxygen, it produces steam. Okay, that's water in gaseous form. This also requires what? Requires oxygen. But helium is a noble gas. In fact, noble gases are unreactive. Noble gases are what? Are unreactive. So helium is not going to burn in oxygen, and because it's not going to burn in oxygen, don't forget that combustion is a chemical reaction. Okay, combustion is a chemical what? Is a chemical reaction. So since helium will not burn, will not combust, will not react with oxygen, definitely it cannot be used as a source of what? A source of fuel, as a gas that can be burned to produce what? To produce heat energy. So therefore the correct answer to this question is what? Is C, because helium cannot be used for this purpose. Okay, question 4. The elements hydrogen and uranium are used as fuels. The compound ethanol is also used as a fuel. Which fuel requires oxygen in order to produce heat energy? Okay, this is just similar to question 3 that we consider. Okay, so you have also considered in previous question uranium. Uranium is a radio isotope. Okay, it produces its energy not by combustion. It produces its energy by nuclear bombardment. Okay, uranium produces energy by what? Nuclear bombardment. So it's a nuclear reaction that actually leads to the production of heat energy by uranium, and that leads to the formation of large amount of what, of heat energy, okay, by uranium. So definitely looking at this particular question using elimination method, so anywhere we see uranium being ticked as a source of energy that requires oxygen will be wrong. This is wrong, this is wrong, so, and this is wrong. By elimination method, definitely C will be the most suitable option here. But let's still consider that ethanol can burn in oxygen to produce carbon dioxide and water. When ethanol burns, it produces carbon dioxide and what, and water, so it requires oxygen. And we have also considered hydrogen, okay, burning in oxygen to produce what, to produce water as what, as the byproduct. So definitely the correct answer to this question is what, is C. C is the correct answer to the question. So question 5, which substance does not use oxygen to produce energy? See, these questions are, you know, are taken from various years of past questions. You can see that this kind of question comes out a lot, so you need to be aware of that. Which substance does not use oxygen to produce energy? So correct answer here, banking on the previous questions that I've explained, will be what, uranium is radioactive, okay, so it releases energy by nuclear war, releases energy by nuclear reaction, so it does not require what, oxygen. Coal requires oxygen, hydrogen requires oxygen, natural gas, which is your methane, okay, methane require what, require oxygen for its combustion, produce carbon dioxide and what, and water. So this is an unbalanced equation, okay. So that's that. I've written for this in previous questions. So when hydrogen combusts, it's going to form water, hydrogen, okay, plus oxygen combusts to form what, to form water, basically to form water. So, and of course your coal, carbon plus oxygen is going to form carbon monoxide or carbon dioxide, as the case is, depending on whether you have sufficient amount of oxygen or insufficient amount of what, oxygen. So basically the correct answer here is what, is D. Okay, so let's look at the last question for this volume. A power station was designed to burn gaseous fuel only. Which two substances could be used? Now looking at this question, what's the clue that we have? Okay, so designed to burn gaseous fuel. So that means, looking at our options, we have materials given, they could be fuel or some may not be fuel. So let's consider them one after the other. Okay, so carbon dioxide and hydrogen. Okay, why both are gases, both are gaseous. Okay, only hydrogen can be used as fuel, carbon dioxide cannot be used as fuel. So let's look at B quickly. Carbon dioxide cannot be used as fuel. I've said that. Uranium, okay, can be used as fuel, but it is not uranium is not a gaseous fuel. It's not a gaseous fuel. Okay, so this can work. Hydrogen is a gas. Methane is also gas. Okay, and hydrogen is a fuel. Methane is also used as well as fuel. So C looks like the best option here, but let's consider D too to be sure. Okay, methane here just the same. Uranium does not fit into the criteria. And what are the criteria that we have? We are looking at the fact that it has to be gaseous, and of course it has to be what? It has to be fuel. So hydrogen and methane fit into the criteria. So both of them, okay, fit, and the correct option is what? Is C. I'm sure you've learned a lot from this video. I'll see you in volume 2. I encourage you to quickly subscribe and like this video, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and go visit eridonlineacademy.weebly.com for more exam success resources. See you in volume 2.